Next, we have an update on the report of the MAC meeting. We have Steve Koser, who is currently the acting division chief for the Asset Management Division in PennDOT's Bureau of Maintenance and Operations. Then we have Robert Blight, currently working as supervising engineer in the Pavement Design and Technology section.
The 2018 AASHTO Committee on Maintenance, or COM, also known as you heard Neil talk about, it's called the MAC, or the Maintenance Committee, was held in North Carolina in Charlotte last July, and both myself and Robert went to that. At the business meeting last year of this organization held in Mystic, Connecticut, decided to send 2 people from this partnership. The other partnerships were already sending 2 people to the AASHTO COM, or the MAC. By doing so, it assists with our bylaws and objectives in doing so. So therefore, we approved Steve, myself, and Robert to go to the MAC last year. The MAC has 5 goals. Since these presentations are going to be available on the website, I'm not going to go through and read these and emphasize a lot of things. You can read them either on the screen, or you can pull the presentations up later when we're done and the conference is over. There was general sessions every day. There was general sessions. There was also like a dozen, I think I counted at least a dozen acronyms on this slide. Feel free to look at the notes that should accompany this presentation as well to explain what some of those are if you're unfamiliar with those acronyms. There was also technical work groups. There's 5 of those. The ones that are bolded are the ones that I participated in or went to, because some of these are occurring concurrently and you can't get to all of them. So fortunately, I was able to cover, I think, the same 2 as Robert got to, so we both were able to converse on what we saw there and what came out of it. Just mentioning, there is a bridge technical working group, and these are the outputs of what that group came up with at the end of the meeting. And they had the same kind of format for every technical working group. So you can see those bullet points are basically the same format as every technical working group had to look at. And I'll just hit some of the ones that we were actually at and knew something about. So the equipment group, there's also, I know our department has a proxy for the equipment division or equipment area that attends. Each state member has a voting member. We have one who's a proxy for the equipment, and while I was there at the meeting, I became the proxy for the pavement technical working group as well. I believe Robert tagged to be a proxy as well to vote on the outcomes, but you know, we were only be able to vote on the things that we were really involved with and knew anything about. Again, you can see the same kind of format for each group. There's a bunch of research that was covered in the pavement working group. And the roadway group also had a lot of presentations, again, following the same basic format that every technical working group had, such as asset management, workforce development, communications, research projects. So they were updating everyone in the group, or everyone in the audience, on what was the activities and what was the outcome, as well as seeking input from the members. There was also a maintenance operations technical working group, a lot of involvement with weather and winter operations, and NCPP report there at the bottom of the screen you can see. Then the technical service programs that are overseen by the COM or the MAC, the one that ties with us is the Transportation Systems Preservation, TSP2. There are other ones as well, the equipment and maintenance and snow and ice control, or SICOP. The AASHTO business meeting, like I said, Steve and myself and Robert participated as proxy votes for their respective voting members. Some of the important issues that were discussed, this was kind of the outcomes, was the Snow and Ice Pooled Fund Cooperative Program, or SICOP, the 2020 revised requirements for commercial driver's licensing certifications and testers, updates from TRB and NCHRP. There was technical working group accomplishment reports and action plans identified, research needs, there was resolutions discussed, and various NCHRP project reports and publications were there as well. 2019 AASHTO COM or MAC is being held in Grand Rapids, Michigan this year in July, and I'm sure we'll talk about this during the business meeting tomorrow, but from my perspective, it was a great experience. Interaction and experience, able to network, talk to peer states and committees, have frank discussions, and they were at breakfast, lunch, dinner, We also had a tour of the NASCAR facility as one of the things that was available to us as part of being a member. We covered treatments, had opportunities to talk amongst ourselves on what kind of preservation treatments were successful. We looked at what kind of performance other states were having, and the main focus there is on quality. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Robert. He's going to hit home some quality information.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks, Rhonda, for the nice intro. This one slide kind of gives you the impression or lets you know this is the big takeaway for me. This was presented by Neil Galehouse during the Pavement TWG meeting. You know, really, this is what we're dealing with in New Jersey right now. Workmanship is a huge issue. It can drag down the entire program if it's not addressed throughout, you know, from everything that we do, you know, we have to maintain quality. We're seeing that in New Jersey. Just some quality issues we see in New Jersey, and this wasn't part of the MAC, but these are just examples over the past year in New Jersey we're seeing with just quality of laydown and things like that. There's no excuse for you know, subpar quality, and whatever we have to do, you know, some of the things that were discussed at the MAC, training, more training, we were discussing that here. This just kind of re-emphasizes the need for that. We have to stay on top of that. It has to be agency, industry, you know, we have to get together, have, you know, cooperative. I mean, we've done that this year. We had our R26 workshop with David Peshkin, and we had good turnout from industry and agency, and good discussion in that training. So certification, Neil hit on that. I think this is absolutely necessary to do this, to maintain some level of quality throughout. Performance testing, we're looking at this in New Jersey. A little bit was discussed about this at the MAC as to, you know, how to implement performance testing for acceptance on thin stuff. You know, some, from what I understand, some agencies are already looking at this and maybe doing it. We're looking at it as well. And then maintenance bonds and warranties. This is a big discussion in New Jersey, and there's been some discussion on the national level as well. Steve and I would just like to thank the NEPPP for the opportunity to go. This is some images from the NASCAR museum that we got to go to while we were there as a group tour, and we got to, you know, do some simulation race car driving. I think Steve won, so thank you for that, and thank you for the opportunity to serve this group.
The preceding was produced by the National Center for Pavement Preservation. More information can be found on the web at pavementpreservation.org. Additional support provided by Michigan State University.